Just as a young man was about to refuel his car, he heard a knocking sound coming from the trunk. Because the music inside the car was loud, he wasn't sure if he really heard it. But as he inserted the fuel nozzle into the tank, the knocking became more obvious. The driver, however, turned up the volume of the music and rolled down the windows. A clear attempt to cover up the noise coming from the trunk. That's because there was a woman tied up inside. The young man didn't intervene. He simply watched as the car drove away. The man drove to a remote mountain forest. He got out and started digging a hole, while the woman in the trunk was still desperately struggling. Once the hole was ready, the man slowly walked toward the trunk. But to his surprise, the woman had already freed herself from the ropes. The moment he opened the trunk, she knocked him to the ground and took the chance to escape. Meanwhile, the main character Will had just arrived home. His wife and daughter were already asleep. He sat on the couch, enjoying the peace and quiet. Suddenly, a scream shattered the silence. It was the scream of the kidnapped woman. She ran down from the mountain and into Will's neighborhood, crying for help while nearly exhausted. The scream caught Will's attention. He walked out onto his balcony and saw a man in a baseball cap chasing a woman. The woman fell to the ground, but the man had no intention of letting her go. After catching her, he raised a hammer and struck her head brutally. Will had just witnessed a murder with his own eyes. His hands trembling, he pulled out his phone to call the police. Just then, his wife turned on the lights, startling Will and attracting the killer's attention. Frightened, Will rushed to turn off the lights. His sleepy wife drank some water and went back to bed. Will crouched down and slowly crept back to the balcony to check whether the killer had noticed the light. But the scariest thing happened. He locked eyes with the killer. His phone, shaken from his hands earlier, had its battery dislodged somewhere. While searching for the battery, Will kept an eye on the killer. The killer turned and started walking away. But after a few steps, he stopped again. He lifted a finger, as if counting something. In a flash, Will realized. The killer was counting the floors and heading toward his building. Was he going to kill a witness? Will hurriedly grabbed a baseball bat and locked the door, waiting at the entrance. Minute by minute passed. Then a sudden noise startled him. He checked the surveillance camera but saw nothing unusual. So he opened the door to check. It was just a delivery. But as soon as he brought the package inside, a hand suddenly reached through the doorway.